Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's Universe podcast. Hope you're doing good. This is a Friday. Yippee-ki-yay. I know, just like I'm having a blast from the past. It's just doesn't stop, isn't it? But that's okay. So, in this episode today, we're going to be talking about the hidden burnout of holding it all together, the way of being the strong one. Seriously. So, let's get started. There is a quiet kind of burnout, one that doesn't come from overwork or ambitions, but from always being the dependable one. The one others rely on, the one who holds space, keeps calm, and carry burdens in silence. So this episode, we're going to explore the emotional toll of being the strong one and what it takes to soften being seen and receive. That is so true. So we're talking about this today, and if you ever felt the weight of holding everything and everyone together, even when your own world is quietly crumbling, so this is for you. And let's be honest, being the strong one is often praised, it's admired. People trust you, lean on you, depend on you. You're the calm in a storm, the shoulder to cry on, the fixer, the planner, the steady one. But here's the thing no one talks about. Who holds the strong one? Yep, let it sink in. Who hold the strong ones? So when your identity becomes wrapped in being the one who's always okay, you start to lose the freedom to be not okay. You suppressed it. You delay your own healing. You become a container for everyone else's chaos, but you carry your own pain in silence. That kind of emotional labor, it's exhausting. That kind of invisibility, it's heartbreaking. Yes, it is. So, the kind of burnout, this isn't the kind of burnout that comes from working late hours or launching too many projects. This is an emotional burnout, soul fatigue. This is what we're talking about. It's what happens when your nervous system is constantly in manage everything mode, when you're silently grieving but still showing up, when you're the rock but you feel like you're drowning beneath the surface. You can't fall apart because you don't feel like you have the permission to do it. That is something that is so true. I have noticed, and based on, I always been an anchor for a lot of people in my life that were friends, families, everybody. And I never will guess we were going through that, but you're always so composed. That's what people say. Nobody ever realize what it takes to be the strong one. You can smile, but inside you're screaming. But because strength is a mask we wear so well, people forget it's only a mask. So it happened that it was very interesting because I had a few burned out But one of them where I basically could not take it anymore. It was too much. And the tears started to flow. And the people were looking at me like it was the end of the world. And I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm human. I am a freaking human. Or I'm a soul being in a human body, having a human experience. But that human experience needed to happen. But the face of the people, like it was the end of the world, for me to do not be strong, really showed that they were not allowing me to be who I'm supposed to be. You always have to be the strong one. You know what? Once in a while, you put your armors down and you just want to be you. Those are the moments where, people need to understand that you maybe looks like the strongest person around, but you still have your own emotions and you need to feel those. So that has been very interesting on my side. I don't know for most of you guys, but for me, it was a learning moment and a teaching moment to realize that those people were depending on me a little too much. And even as a strong one, as a calmer one, it's you have to find that balance, that right to have an emotion, not silently, not quietly, but being able to express those emotions as well, not feeling that you have to wear that armor of being invincible to help everybody. So it's quite an interesting topic for today, because when people see you as somebody that is the rock, the person that is standing in the middle of the storm, and you can always count on that person. You know that person has your back. You know that you can come and crash. Whatever is the deal, that person is always there. But we forgot. We forgot that that strong person is also a human who has also experiences they're going through. And most people are forgetting that because they see these individuals as only one side of that person. They don't see the overall picture of that person most of the time. So it is a reminder for everybody who are the strongest one that it's okay to crumble. It's okay to sit down, put your head between your hands and let it out. It is okay. We are not invincible. We are here. We're invincible. Our souls are. But we're here to experience as well. And we have the right to express who we are as emotions as well. So here's the invitation. You are allowed to break. You are allowed to break. You are allowed to need. You're allowed to say, I'm not okay today. Because people don't want to hear it. Somebody is strong, we don't want to hear that because it scared the crap of everybody else's. But we're allowed to say it. Being vulnerable doesn't erase your strengths, it expands it. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to apologize for your softness, and you don't have to carry everyone to be worthy of love. You don't earn the rest. You take it. You don't ever have to apologize to be soft. And I think when you're too strong, you're forgetting every other facets of who you are, the softness, the kindness, because you're the strongest one. Kindness is, you can be strong and be very kind, yes, but you have that strength that always prevail. You have the right to say, I'm not okay. I'm not okay today. I will be tomorrow, but today I'm not okay. And I allow myself to be in that space so I can release everything. And also, even the strong one, we do not carry everyone to be worthy. We do not carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And that's something people need to understand. I think the strength to do a lot of things to empower others is one thing. But we have to remind ourselves we do not carry everyone on our shoulders to be worthy of love or whatever it is. We can help, we can nurture, but you're not going to feed spoon people. So being somebody else's rock is fine. However, we have to realize we're not carrying the world on our shoulders. No, we don't. And that is something that we have to teach ourselves. We have to go back to our inner child and connect with our inner child in order to reconnect properly with our own self. We had and we grew up in an extremely harsh environment when we were kids, because of after war, blah, blah, blah. Typical things that you probably will not think much here. But because of the way we grew up, we had to become strong very quickly. Even I didn't want it to be that strong, but you were not allowed, in a chaos we were, to be the weakest link. So you had to become strong. You had to be close to the emotion, which is good in one way because you don't put yourself as a victim. That's a good thing. But you had to be strong. You had to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. That's a great thing. Throughout my life, I had no issue with that because it helped me to get where I am today. However, having the softer side and the more playful side, then we forgot. As we are the strongest one, we have to learn to play again. We have to learn to let it out again. We have to learn to have fun again, because it's not all business or catastrophic event that somebody brought us on our lap. And that is something that, as somebody who is strong, I had to relearn to be the kid within myself. I had to do that. Even today, actually earlier today, I went back on YouTube because I came across something. It's Skyrock. If you don't know what Skyrock is, it's a French radio that I listened over when did I discover those guys? I think, and they've been there forever, but I discovered them across mid 2000, and I like to listen to Skyrock. And I went on YouTube and I came across actually one of the shows they do, which they invite rappers or musicians to go for 1 hour when they are, for a week. For 1 hour show for the entire week. They're there promoting their album, talking about what they're doing, singing, actually performing live, which is awesome. And I came across one with Bramzito and Sopran Baba, or Soprano. I love Soprano. Soprano has such great music and uplifting. It's awesome, even for it's different rap that we have here in the U.S. Anywho, I love that music, the one they had. And I just put it on and I started to literally dance. I let it out. I was singing. I danced. The dogs were watching me. I was like, I don't give a crap. I'm just having a moment of fun. A moment where you can be you. You don't have to take yourself seriously. You're just enjoying it. And I love to do this because I lost that a while ago. Because when you're the strong one, and you're always in that mode, it doesn't allow you to express yourself the way you want it, because you have that role. People sees you as the foundation, as the rock, and if the rock crumbles, we got a problem. As I said, I discovered that when I had one moment where I needed to let it out, then I wasn't okay. And I saw people's face like it was the end of the world. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Why are you acting up like it's the end of the world? Because if I crumble, the rest of the world's going to crumble. This is where you realize, oh my God, I am that person. I am that person and you're counting on. So your hope and all of your hope is basically you're betting on me like a horsey. If I crumble, the rest of the world's come down. No, it's not. But for the person who's always strong, it would be nice to take vacation from ourselves as well. And that is something we're allowed to do. We're allowed to do it. So for the people who are strong, you can take a break from the world. You can take a break from people, you can take a break and said, I'm not available. Whatever is going on your side, you're gonna be just fine. We need a little break here. I need a time off here. And set up your boundaries. I've been a fixer 4 years, and when I was in corporate working there, I always fix. Everybody brought me their problem. It's like, let's do the purge on Emma. And it's always interesting to, being able to let know people. And people knew. I said, everything is feasible here. We can do it. We're going to make it. We're going to do it. And people were like, okay, well, if Emma say that, then we're going to go and we're going to do it. And I said, my motto has been, if I'm telling you we're fine, it's going to work out, it is going to work out. Now, and I've rarely said that. Maybe I said it once. Maybe. In the entire working, yeah. Maybe I said it, working life. I said it maybe once, that it's time to go for the hills. Let's get the freak out of here because that is not going to go well. That's probably one time I said it. But most of the time, people will be surprised. So people would calm down for whatever psychosis they were in, or the stress, or whatever was the end of the world. You had to calm them down, say, we're going to be fine. I know how. We're going to do the process, blah, blah, blah. Got everything done on time. And people were like, okay, thank you so much. Okay. And then they will restart the same thing. But it comes to a point where the strongest person needs a freaking break, because we got the right to allow ourselves to be human. Seriously. It is imperative for us to put that armor down and let it out. Seriously, I should have called that episode Let It Out. Let it all out. Or take a break from the world. Or from your world, actually. But when you think about it, being strong is great. But you have to let the people grow as well. You have to do what you got to do in your life. But you have to allow yourself to be human. You have to allow yourself to do that. So in order to do that, maybe you need to name your needs. Maybe you could do one thing you could today, even journaling it. Name your need. One of the most radical things the strong one can do is ask for help. And one thing that I did actually, and I talked about it in my this week on my podcast again on one of the episodes, and I have no issue with that. I could talk about that. Dark night of the soul, yay! Dark night of the soul. I have learned as a kid. We have learned to be self-reliant. We only rely on us because nobody were coming and helping us at all. As a teen, and as I went into my 20s, 30s, and 40s, same thing. Nobody came to help. You figure it out on your own. You save yourself, which is a good thing because this is what we're supposed to do, actually. But I have learned, even as a strong person, and I explained that during, after the fire, that was before the fire, actually. It was when Jay passed away, that I went and spiraled down into the abyss of darkness. And I wasn't drinking, and neither did I don't do drugs. So that was mental, and that was basically me going down the rabbit hole very quickly. And I realized at the point where I had breakdown that was so bad, I realized that I needed help. I came to the conclusion on my own that after 5 freaking decades of dealing with crap left and right, that this time I needed somebody. I needed someone to be my sounding board. So even as a strong person, you can ask people around you for help. Me, it was so extreme that I went to I like Dr. Michael. Dr. Mike was awesome. And Michael is like Archangel Michael. Like, I like the name, I like you. Great doc. And it was a very good thing to do because I allowed that I allow someone else to hold the space for me. So, as a strong person, I will say it's not a weakness actually. And I went through the process because at the end of the day, you need to realize there is so much you can take until you're gonna blow up for good. And when I say blow up for good, is you can kill yourself or do attempt suicide or anything like that because it's too much. Or you're gonna have a nervous breakdown and you're never gonna come back from. Letting someone else hold a space for you, whether it's a therapist, a friend, or a journal, let your heart breathe. Redefine your strengths. It's not about stoicism, it's about truth telling, it's about wholeness. And take off the cape, even just for a day. Rest, be messy, and let someone else lead. For me, Dr. Michael, when I got him, I went into the mental, what do you call it over there? Center for Mental Illness, or whatever the deal was. They call it that building over there. I went over there, and he's a therapist. And it was good because I went over there. We talked about, and I filled up the form. I did whatever, and I spoke with him for an hour actually. And he read the file, and I said, "Okay." I said, "I need a sounding board." I said, "I really need that sounding board. I need somebody to hold that space for me, so I could talk and take one situation at a time." Because outside of the outside world will see me at that time, and I am a very good actress, so I smiled. Everything was fine. You will look at me. Everything is okay. Everything is normal. No, it wasn't. But to the rest of the world, and for the dog, trying to stay strong for my animals as well, because my world was crumbling down, but I still played that mask and that role that everything was fine. So the rest of the world never knew what was going on. And that's the problem when you're a strong person, is that you put the mask on and nobody will realize because nobody cares like that. They go, "Oh yeah, you're always good, you're always fine." No, I'm not, but I'm not going to tell you either. So learning that you can be a warrior, but you have the right to put that armor down. You have the right to have somebody coming into that space and hold it so you can breathe. You can speak up, breathe, and let it out. We are soul having a human experience. We're not freaking robots. And for me, Dr. Michael, hold that space. He was my sounding board where I was picking up one issue at a time. I did not pull up the entire enchilada. It was one problem that I needed to deal that was necessary because this was the first thing I needed to talk about. Took several months to get this out, then talk about the rest and the next one, the next one. But what was interesting is that allowed him to give me that space, helped me to be stronger, but also realizing that I have limits and being able to say, when you reach those limits, I need help. Not feeling ashamed. Nobody should ever feel ashamed, even when a strong person should not feel ashamed of asking for help at all. And if it's just talking to a friend, you don't have to go to a therapist if you don't want to, or journal it. But I think talking to somebody helps a lot because you can use that person as a sounding board. And for me, I told him at the beginning, I need a sounding board. I need somebody where I can throw everything out and see what else. And he gave me insight as well when I asked him, but he listened and we talked about it and he helped a lot. That space helped me. The superhero cape, no. The armor was done, yes, because I needed to take care of myself. Being a strong person and always putting everybody else's first is like a double-edged sword. You should take care of yourself first and then everybody. And we have a tendency to do the reverse. Now I put myself first, but I had to learn that. because I never been taught that. So being strong, it's fantastic. It helps me. But you have to remember you're not weak if you crumble. You're not weak if you need help. You're not weak to let it go and be messy for a day. You're not. So I would say to the strong one listening, you are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to fall apart. You are allowed to be freaking human. Strength is not silence. Strength is not self-neglect. True strength is knowing when to lay down the burden, take a breath, and let yourself be seen. And I think that was the hardest part for me, is that throughout the years, I continued to carrying everything until one day I stopped to do it because I knew it was time to let it out. You don't have to do it all. You don't. Even if you feel like people are depending on you, you don't. You don't have to hold it all. You don't. You just have to be you. Yes, you just have to be you. Thank you for joining me on my podcast, because it's perfectly imperfect, and we are, and that's okay because we are perfectly imperfect. So if this episode resonated, wow, I love it. If this episode sounded to someone who needs to hear it, you don't always have to be the strong to be worthy. You don't. So until next time, take off the mask. You're safe here. All my love, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.